Okay.
Okay, so I want to just we're going to be missing a week, so I want to remind you uh, the next time I'm going to see you is on April 8th.
Mhm.
So um, you should send me the one or two slides uh, not later than April 6th. So because I have to put them in order and sequence them. Um, the best thing you could do is to send them early and write what you want to write later. Okay. The only problem with that is don't change your mind. Okay. All right. Okay. And in your essay, I want you to stress slow looking so that you are showing the reader or the viewer that your eyes were tired from looking that hard at things. Um, Stay between 10 and 25 lines and 4 minutes or less. 4 minutes or less. So between 3 and 4 minutes. I've found that that's about one typewritten page, um, approximately. Um, do any of you have a question about this? Maybe some of the people who are just new might have a question. You should ask. Yeah, Charles.
Yeah, so we just have a practical question. So where would we get these slides to send you?
Um, that is a very good question. That is a very good question. Um, so yeah, that's really excellent. That's really excellent. Yeah, no, I'm laughing because so one of the students in the class used to put all of the slides together in one very long presentation, one slide after the other after the other. And I like that idea because then you would have a record permanently of all these images. Then he was overworked with things that he was doing, and to a degree, I was overworking him also with things that I wanted him to do. So I think since you asked, and it's your question, I'm going to see if I could ask him to come out of retirement and do this again. If he can't do it, um, what you do is you look up the artist's name and you'll see under the artist's name on the internet um,
Image.
all or all or images. So you click images, and I think you'll pretty much find all the slides that I've chosen. Um, Obviously, if he can't do this, you have to choose something that is available, that is readily available. And I'm pretty sure you could find it. But other than doing it that way, I nothing comes to mind as to how to do it.
Now, if we had access to your slides, couldn't we download the ones that we were going to talk about?
I think that's what he's talking about.
Okay. Another way I could do this is if he's a little overwhelmed, you could send me
The slide we
you
wanted.
could send me a question and say, I can't find this.
Mhm.
Okay. Then I could send you by WeTransfer the whole thing. Okay. But I don't know if I could do that for everyone,
Yeah.
Oh,
all
Donate.
at once. I could do it for you. There's on WeTransfer, there's like one or two slots. I could put one or two names in, maybe more. I just don't know. I never did that.
So
I have a
Simon,
thought. Oh, go
I was,
ahead.
And,
okay, go ahead, Ann.
and go
Okay,
ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. We both started at the same time. I just wanted to say that I don't know exactly what I can do, but I'm 99% sure that I have access to JSTOR, which is the library of like the cultural library of images for the United States. And you can get you can get images without or that are high resolution without the watermarks on them or, you
Oh,
know, and if I can access the right images, and I haven't explored it all that much, but if I can access the right images through being a teacher, then I would be happy to just pull those from JSTOR for anyone who
mhm.
needs them. If you can't find them or if you just want to
Okay.
run it by me.
All right. So when I send you the recording tomorrow,
Hmm.
I will give you Ann's email.
Okay.
Okay. But surefire is if my friend could do it. I don't think it would take that long to do, but I don't know how to do it. I'm at the limit of my second grade level of intelligence. Um,
I could make a suggestion,
John.
uh, Barbara and Charles. What I do, Anne, is to type in Helene Scherfbeck painting, and then if you have a painting in mind, you can describe it. Self-portrait,
Wow.
black background.
Wow. Wow.
You don't need to know the title,
Wow.
and maybe the word image, and a whole slew of things will come up from
Wow.
um,
Incredible.
Vanity Fair's review of the exhibition, any article
Wow.
that's been published,
Wow.
and you can find that painting. You search a little bit and pick a high resolution image. You can typically drag it out of the article. Another source is any museum that carries that work. Museums, because they're sort of quasi public private, have to provide high res images for, and I think education and things like this. And you can find it through museum resources. Almost every museum has a high resolution archive. It's pretty easy to find with a specified search. Scherfbeck painting, self-portrait,
Mhm.
black background is almost literally how I came to the image I'll be using
Wow.
for the
Wow.
essay coming up here.
Wow. Okay.
I'm sorry,
Um,
did you say, John, that you use Google for that description? You just put that description in Google?
I put it in Google, yeah, or
um,
I think any search engine you use will suffice.
so, Susan,
Yeah,
do you have a question?
no, no.
No.
Oh,
Okay.
I had a question.
Yeah.
Wendy,
Wendy. Wendy.
I thought that if we were using images that you used in class, they're not things that you still have access to? We need to
No,
send,
no, no, I do. You could write to me.
okay, so when if we were going to send it to you, I thought I was just going to tell you which two I wanted to use because you had presented them both to us.
Yes, but don't tell me now because you
No,
could
no, I don't mean to.
write to me and tell me. But,
Okay, but it's
but,
not, I
but
don't need to find it separately.
what was nice about my friend doing this is that then when the class ended, you had a little
Yeah.
library. You had a little library of like 250 images, which I think is really lovely. Um,
Simon,
yeah.
if I can just make one point for the new folks, and I'm 100% sure you'll agree, is you're not required to use
Right.
item pictures that Simon has shown.
Oh, yes.
There's a huge amount of like freedom here to if I like the artist, I'll just Google the artist, I'll do save as on two images and I email them to him, and that's
Yeah, this is in a brilliant. What he said is absolutely brilliant, but it's like the letters right in front of you on the table. Um, yes, you don't have to use the images that I've said. You just use two images, any two images. So that's, yeah, Len, great, thank you. Um, um, the last thing in this introductory part is I want to remind you about Monday, if any of you have forgotten or are half interested. Please come. I think that it'll be a very interesting evening. It's at 128 Pierpont Street in Brooklyn Heights. So I think on the subway it's by Borough Hall. It's a absolutely gorgeous building as well. So and we've prepared an interesting grouping of images, and it's really, really quite a special evening. Um, okay, so I want to just start. I want to talk about the Frick collection.
Hmm.
Um, Anna, did you prepare something for the film?
No, no, but I can talk about it. Do you want to start with the Frick or
I
the
know,
film?
I know you want to leave earlier tonight.
Yeah.
If you kept it down to like 3, 4 minutes,
Oh,
you
I don't have anything prepared, so it would be a
no,
lot.
no. But do you have anything you feel like saying?
Yeah, well, I do. I actually saw the film before class. When I went to see the exhibit, so I heard about the film, and so then I watched the film. So I haven't seen it in a few months, but I was so struck by a couple of things. One was the lighting throughout the just Finland. I was Finland. I've never
Yeah.
been to Finland, and I was struck by Finland and that sense of I don't know, barrenness, quiet, the landscape, and her
Mm.
loneliness and her kind of stuck in this world. And the one thing she had was the art. And then the other thing that's really fascinating in the film is her relationship with her mother, which is incredibly complicated and somewhat hurt, I guess, didn't make me very comfortable or happy. And then this relationship, of course, with what's his name? I can't remember his name.
I
But
know, I know.
yeah, and how that is so inside her and
Mm.
not, I don't know that it's acknowledged or even understood by him. So there's a lot that's inside her that's not out. And then she does these paintings. So those are my 2 cents.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, beautiful,
So,
beautiful film.
let me deal with the Frick collection if I could. So the Frick collection is located on East 70th Street and Fifth Avenue. And this is the collection of Henry Clay Frick, um, whose money and capital came from basically from steel and coke. Um, he was a member of a group of financiers, um, which had a nickname, Robber Baron.
Robert Barons.
Um, and in explaining why he collected art, Frick said, quote, I can make money, I cannot make pictures. Um, the works in his collection were bought by an advisor. The advisor's name was Joseph Duveen, Duveen. So Duveen was sort of like a classic Englishman who was a connoisseur of art. He was on the level of Bernard Berenson.
Mm.
The interesting thing for me personally is that a few blocks away from where I live now, on Garfield Place, um, I knew a woman whose name was Annetta Duveen.
Hmm.
And Annetta Duveen was the daughter of Joseph Duveen.
Hmm.
And she was a very fine sculptor. And recently, I got a note, an email from completely out of the blue from Charles Duveen. And Charles Duveen is the grandson of Joseph Duveen. And Charles Duveen had seen the exhibit at the Center for Brooklyn History and was very enthusiastic, to put it mildly. He was very enthusiastic. So he may show up at my talk with my daughter. Um,
Excuse me,
Now,
what time is the talk?
it's at 6 o'clock or 6:30, one of those times. I think if you came at 6, you'd be fine. Okay. So now I've brought students to the Frick collection a few times, and because I am somewhat mixed up, I don't usually make an appointment. We just go there and we arrive, and I always tell the students to look intelligent, look like you know what you're doing, and we won't be stopped. Okay. And so we meet at an area that is just outside the court. You go into this building, is a court, which I think used to be where they kept the horses and the carriage. But we meet and we're standing outside the court. Very, very fancy, very posh. And so we gather overlooking the court. And what I remember, I would always say, the very beginning of my introduction would be that the only reason that we are visiting this place is the art. Okay? The only reason that we're there looking at what's going on in this building is the art. Now, I still stand by that, but I could imagine people wanting to see a very well-to-do, super wealthy house. But nowadays there are many more billionaires around, and I can't imagine people finding that so incredibly interesting that they would want to go to a billionaire's house. I mean, anyway, that's my point, is that the only reason that people go there is to see the art that Frick collected. Now, the proviso is this: the art that he collected is amazing, simply amazing. So this is not true with other people who are very wealthy. Okay, no offense to if any of you are very wealthy, no offense, but usually very well-to-do people do not have good taste. I, I sorry to insult any of you, but they really don't have good taste. Schlock, schlock. Okay, so I would also say that if you had a very short space of time and you were visiting New York and you wanted to go to one museum for one afternoon, I would choose this museum. It's very manageable and it's chock with amazing works. So, what I thought I would do would be to pick out five paintings and just kind of talk about them. So let me see if I could share. And okay. Okay, so this is the Frick collection on 70th Street. It goes basically for a block between 70th and 71st Street. Um, and right here is the entrance to the building. Going in this direction is Madison Avenue, and in this direction is Fifth Avenue. So this is the entrance. Um, um, Years ago, the Frick was free. Maybe about 60 years ago, 50 years ago, maybe 40 years ago, it was free. And then they started charging admission. And also, an overview of this is that now many people are visiting here. But before they did this renovation, uh, I'll talk about that in a bit. But before they did this renovation, which was the last 3, 4 years, hardly anyone went to this museum. Okay, it was usually empty. Okay, so this is the atrium. This is the area that I was speaking about. It is like dazzling, absolutely dazzling space. And when it was free, it was particularly lovely because you'd walk around, you'd be near here, and you'd go in here and sit on one of these marble benches and um, um, and just meditate. So it was really exceptional. And Renee reminds me that when it was free, she would pop in and go to the bathroom here, and the bathroom had marble sinks. Um, okay, so this is another view of this court. Oh, and going around the court are galleries. Now, this shows the building from the second floor looking down, and this is the renovation that took place. The second floor was closed off. You could not go up to the second floor. Um, uh, I used to tell people that the second floor was where they had the rent-controlled apartments, um, but no, this was where one person lived with his family. So the second floor has paintings that were never shown before on the first floor. That is very interesting. So I thought I'd concentrate on 5 paintings that are in this museum. Uh, this painting is by Bellini, Bellini, and uh, this is a hands down great painting, and it is maybe one of the great European paintings in the United States, possibly one of the great paintings in New York City. So, this painting, the theme of this painting has to do with St. Francis. But more than that, the landscape is fantastic and fantastical and goes way, way out. Uh, in the painting, there are many animals that are under crevices, underneath tables, and so forth. And you see St. Francis here um, in in a in a sense of study and meditation. And um, there's a detail that I have where you see St. Francis has received the stigmata on his hands, here, on his hands, both hands. Um, okay, so I have some details of this. Oh, this is the way the painting looks in the Frick collection. And this is an amazing photograph because uh, you don't really see a painting looking like this in this setting. But if you go there, this is what you see. And well, it's a really amazing painting. And you could spend a long time looking at this. Maybe we'll come back to this, but I want to make sure that you see all the paintings. So in the painting, the rock formations, let me just go back. The rock formations are very interesting, and the foliage growing out of the rocks are very interesting. The rock formations have an amazingly interesting color to them, sort of like a green gray, brown green gray color that's really hard to describe. But this image is a very good image of the painting. One thing about finding images on the internet is that they're not all so good. And sometimes you just have to use one. But this is exceptional. This is really, really good. Okay, so going a little bit ahead. So this is again another detail, but you can see the that color is like pistachio kind of gray tone. I don't know where he got this color from. I mean, I don't know. This seems so unusual. So I thought of showing a few works that are of other works that are by Bellini. So you see his touch, his sense of eyesight, his skill. And this is quite an amazing painting that's located in London. And this is a Doge, D-O-G-E. And this is a very good reproduction of this painting. So Bellini is I believe, a northern Italian artist, 1400, 1500. This is another painting of Bellini. Um, this is a kind of funny question to ask because some of you are not, haven't been in this class a while, and some of you have. Um, this painting reminded me of someone we studied, but who's not Renaissance. Could anyone guess? I don't mean to put you on the spot, Len, but how about you?
I feel it was just last year. And then it was a group of three. And this was one of the group of three, but I can't place the name.
Well, what interested me here in terms of
I'm sorry, what do you call them? The pieces that open into triptychs.
Triptych.
Was it part of our triptych study?
no,
Okay, that would have been my
no,
guess.
no, but I'm going to give you a hint. It almost seems like one of these people is listening intently to the other. And in the painting I'm thinking of, one person is listening to another. Any guesses?
Tooker.
Who said that?
Ron.
Yeah, George Tucker. George
there was
Tucker.
but there
George
was
Tucker.
but with Tooker there was a door between them.
That's right. That's right.
Oh,
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And I wonder if he didn't think of this painting somewhere in the osmosis of his head. Um, okay, then I thought I would throw in a few landscapes to indicate how good the Bellini is. This is, I should have gotten the dates for this artist, but this is a, uh, an artist whose name is Patinir, Patinir. And I have a feeling that he's Flemish or German. I don't know his dates, but he is of the first artists that painted landscapes. And came across this and I wanted to have something of his work. And curiously enough, in the description of this, it describes this as um, the river Styx, the river Styx, Styx. So a place that we are trying to avoid at all
Yes.
costs.
He makes
Okay.
nice.
Okay. So
Simon,
yes.
his dates are 1480 to 1524.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Here's another landscape which is on the level of the Bellini painting by Bruegel. And wait a minute. And this one by El Greco of A View of Toledo.
Yeah.
Okay, so then to continue, that's one painting in this collection. So this is the second painting that I chose. Now, and also I chose five. You could choose five other ones, and it would be a legitimate choice. But I chose these. So this is a painting by Hans Holbein of Sir Thomas More. And I would say that this is one of the great portraits in New York City or in the United States. So there's an interesting essay that I remember reading once by D.H. Lawrence called Why the Novel? Very short, about 5 pages, 6 pages, but very brilliant. And you could find it online. Why the Novel by D.H. Lawrence. And in the essay, he argues that the novel is the equivalent of a human being. And the novel is a way to capture the complexity of a human being. Give the full range of complexity to one individual. I think of that because this painting is the equivalent of a novel. It's like the whole inner and outer core of this man is depicted. Holbein is one of my favorite Renaissance artists, and he would be called a formalist because his work is very form oriented. And you'll see this in a number of examples that I give. The placement of the features in his work is very, very important. So where the eyes are, where the nose is, where the mouth is like exquisite. The nose in this painting is a spectacular nose, absolutely spectacular. And you'll notice, well, I think I have a close-up of this, but you'll notice that there is a very light but interesting line going along here. Okay. And that line separates his nose from his cheekbone here. The eyes, um, incredible eyes. So in the eyes, this line is very important, and this line, how it intersects the iris. And more important than the bottom, but the bottom is important as well, the lips, the middle line of the lips. And this section here, if maybe in the close-up you'll see this, but in this section here, you see a kind of bit of a beard or bit of something going on there,
Oh,
but
yeah.
very, very subtle. Um, so you should know that Sir Thomas More uh, got into a bit of a tussle with Henry VIII. Now that's very contemporary because if there was someone around now who had the import of Thomas More, I could see the same thing happening. So what Thomas More, he protested Henry VIII uh, saying that he was the head of the church, that he was the omnipotent leader of the church. And Thomas More wanted that to come from Rome and from another point of view. For that he was executed
Mhm,
and he was beheaded.
mhm.
Beheaded. So this man with this incredible head um, lost his life. Oh, okay. Yeah. So this guy this I didn't realize this when I picked this out. This is very, very slightly pixelated, but this is the line I was telling you about.
Mhm.
That line. It's very subtle, but it makes the nose have a certain sculpturalness to it. The eyes, a seer, looking to another world or to something out on the horizon. Um, um, okay. So uh, this doesn't look right. So sorry. If you could, uh, all right. So if you can imagine this in color, or when you look these up, this is what Hans Holbein looked like.
Oh,
And something got goofed up in this presentation. But I always think when I look at who Hans Holbein was, what he looked like, I I feel totally amazed that he could do this art. Sounds kind of stupid because you never can tell what's inside someone and should really be true to that belief that you can tell. But when I look at him, and this is a shame because I really wanted you to see him. He looks like maybe the local butcher. He's got a very cheeky quality and kind of muscular in the face, but really a painter of incredible power and finesse. Um, so this is a painting I particularly like, and it's a painting of a German merchant, and it's actually his name is George or Georg, Georg, Giese, Gisze, Giese. And so this is a painting of a merchant, and it has all of the characteristics of the Holbein painting, but in this case, you see him in his world. In the Holbein, you just see him by himself. In this case, you see him in his world, and the objects that surround him are objects of being a merchant. And they're very realized, and the tapestry on the table is very realized, very real, and yet in some ways abstracted, simplified. Um, when Renee and I lived in Germany at that particular time, um, the 5 mark bill had this man on the bill,
Hmm.
5 mark bill. This painting, I believe, is located in Berlin. I can't remember the name of the museum, but it's the Museum of Older Art in Berlin, and it is a, a tour de force of explication of everything. Um,
Did you say this was a Holbein as well?
this is Holbein, yeah, Holbein, Hans Holbein the Younger,
Okay.
Der Junge. So now, some people might say that this is trompe-l'oeil painting.
Hmm.
Okay,
What
but
about-
see, if you looked at this section here, or if you looked at this section here, yes, of course, I would agree. Or if you looked at this section here, yes, I would agree, because the elements of trompe-l'oeil are kind of fooling your eye and providing an illusion. But the reason, to me, this is not trompe-l'oeil is that it's much more mysterious as to what is happening here. It's a conversation between a lot of elements and this man. Um, in the painting that I did, which is a triptych, in the middle of the table, just above the middle of the table, on a post
Oh,
that's
yes.
in between the 2 windows, is a replication of this man.
Hmm.
And some of the forms, or actually many of the forms on the table and throughout, um, mm, are get somehow influenced or connected with the world of Holbein.
Hmm.
This painting by Holbein is in the National Gallery in London. This is sensational, really sensational, like stopping you in your tracks, sensational. Um, a little over 80 square inches, maybe 86 square inches, approximately square. Um, you see the same uh, theme of embracing the volumes and the um, allegiances to these forms, all different forms, all different enthusiasms. Um, two,
Simon,
yeah, yeah.
is what is the form that's inclined between their feet? Is that a mirror or some other
No,
anthropomorphic?
I'll tell you about that in a second. So all these forms are uh, beautifully realized, very rounded up. Um, the musical forms that are connected with maps, globes, measurement forms, uh, fur, surfaces of um, costumes, fur, accoutrements. This image of Christ in the corner. Um, this green here is more green. And in fact, in the previous one, the merchant Giza, the green is greener. Very unusual to use that kind of green at this period of time. So his dates would be late 1400s, mid 1500s. And and the floor, amazing floor. So the question is from Ron is about this form here. So you can see this form if you stand on the right side of this painting at an angle to the painting. And when you stand there, this form comes to life, and it is a skull.
Oh,
And it is uh, a cautionary tale or a presentment of mortality. I've seen this painting many times in London. Uh, and it does not seem like over rendered to me,
Hmm.
and it doesn't seem like trompe l'oeil. It seems quite mysterious. The two gentlemen, yeah, there isn't a great deal known about them, but both of them were friends. Um, I think one was a clerk and one was maybe a politician or a member of government. Uh, whether their friendship went past beyond simple friendship or not, that's the depiction. Um, all of his paintings are done on wood panel.
mhm.
Mhm.
Okay, so let me just do one more here of Holbein. So the curious thing about Holbein is that though his work is formalist to my way of thinking, and this you could say is formalist, this is really expressionistic and uh, quite emotional and quite charged. This is something else. This painting is, I think, about 10 inches high and 90 inches wide, and is located in Basel. It is a stunning painting, really stunning.
Where, Simon?
In Basel,
Basel.
Basel, yeah, Basel, Switzerland,
Mhm.
Switzerland. And
Yeah.
I only have seen this one time, but it is extremely striking. Um, I think I read that this painting had a great effect on Dostoevsky, and when he visited it, um, he might have had a fit or something took place, epilepsy or something. He was very disturbed by this. Um,
Hmm.
Rene, whose father was quite ill during that period of time, was very disturbed by this painting. Um, is really extreme and stunning. Um, let's go on to the next one.
Simon, it's not of a particular it's not of is it Jesus Christ or is it a person other than that?
No, it's Christ entombed.
Oh, okay.
Christ entombed. And it's very surprising because if you get to know Holbein's work, which is mainly portraiture, um, this is really kind of unexpected. Actually, at the end of his life, he does a series of wood blocks. I don't know if he cuts the wood block or he just does the drawings, but they're very, very small. They're like 2 by 3 inches. And they're wood blocks of the alphabet. And the theme of each wood block is death. So I've seen these all together, all 26 wood blocks, the prints all together. But that also is not really formalist. That's quite emotional.
Is this the tube? Is that painted? Is that also part his painting?
This one here?
Yeah, where the body. Yes, yeah.
Oh, yes. The only part that's painted is, I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay.
The only part that's painted is the Christ figure.
Okay.
All the rest is a
structure,
staging, a wood staging for inserting the painting.
Okay.
But that's how it's displayed. And when you come into this room to see this, it's really upending. Okay, so the next painting at the Frick collection is this painting of the artist Ingres, Ingres, Ingres. And so Ingres was a neoclassical painter. And so he derived much of his inspiration from Greek and Roman art, from Greek and Roman sculpture. But he wanted to remake it into a contemporary point of view. So his work is abstract, very abstract, but in a slightly different way than Holbein. So he is also a formalist, but different than Holbein. And when I think of his work, I think of the work as being harder. So in other words, when I think of it in my head, I picture this as being much stronger, much more linear. Same with his drawings. Same with his other paintings. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's different for different people. But actually, the line in his work is very soft. Along here, extremely soft. Along here, very, very soft. His work is very highly realized, highly singular, the sine qua non of this direction. He does many drawings to figure this out. I think I read just the other day 100 drawings to figure this out, to figure out the composition. He believed more in drawing than in painting. He was a very aristocratic man, and one statement that he made is worth repeating. He said it took him. This is Ingres speaking, not me. This is Ingres. he said that it took him 25 minutes to learn how to paint and 25 years to learn how to draw. So he believed in drawing as an art form, and he believed in drawing as it being the essence of art. Okay. So this is a detail, and you could see what I'm saying about this line. This is not hard edge at all. And this line really almost disappears. So he's constantly playing with the line in and out. Um, Critics have made a point about this arm here that it doesn't kind of connect with her body. And to go back, that, I'm sorry, to go back another shot, that this arm doesn't connect. But as far as I can see, it looks pretty good to me. This is like a tour de force of a certain direction in art. I mean, tour de force is, to put it mildly. So this is a detail of the arms, and his hands are quite striking. Poor photograph. I didn't realize how poor it was, but this shows the way the painting is displayed now. This is a painting that Ingres did. I've often, in a class in drawing and painting, I've often asked the students how old they thought Ingres was when he did this painting. So if there were like 15 students in the class, 8 or 10 of them would say 24, 22, 26, 28. A few others would say maybe 35, 38, 40. And the truth of the matter is really absurd. So Ingres did this painting when he was 80 years old. And he did it from his head. He did it from drawings and from his imagination. This is remarkable.
Even at 80, huh?
Remarkable. So this is a certain sense of formalism to the nth degree. And this back on this woman is remarkable. It is, you cannot believe how abstract this is. There's nothing going on in there. There's no creases, veins, bones, but yet we believe it. This painting I came across in looking for works to show. I'd never seen this painting before, and I'm not even sure it is by Ingres, but if it is, it's quite heated up and definitely wouldn't survive today's Me Too standards. It would be verboten. Das ist verboten. Das ist verboten. It's a joke. It's a joke. Very striking painting.
Oh, wow.
This, I'm sorry, go ahead. Someone wanted to say something? This one on the left is, it's not both of them, it's the one on the left, is really stunning. I think his name is Monsieur Bertin, Bertin. And this is kind of like the male equivalent of the painting at the Frick, like a tour de force of a certain kind of look, a male. Um, Renee is a big reader, and she once mentioned something that I just recall is that there's a gigantic book by Thomas Mann called Buddenbrooks, and it's about a well-to-do German family over many generations. And she always thought this man looked like the patriarch of that family.
Where is this painting, Simon?
This is in the Louvre, this one. So the last one, which this is too bad. This is just slightly out of focus, but this is self-portrait Ingres. And when I was looking at this painting and it looked more in focus, I thought that I usually refer to Dürer as the Prince of Art. And I think that Ingres may be the Prince the Second of art. Very princely individual. Okay, so this is the fourth painting in the same museum, the Frick Collection, and this is a painting by Vermeer. So in the Vermeer paintings, you should think about the light in the paintings, the light and the quality of light that circles around the painting. And the light is extremely mysterious, very hard to define. A very there's a word for something that is below what you can recount. Ineffable, maybe ineffable. Um, Here in this profile, the line seems to quiver. And here, the line just is out of focus, is in the painting out of focus. And here, the same thing. And he'll have curious elements that are in focus, like the necklace here that is quite in focus, or these pots on the table. There is a theory that he used a lens of some sort to look through to help him see this and help him design it. I actually think that's correct. But it doesn't explain the art. It just, my instinct is it is correct.
That is astounding to me. It reminds me of Gerhard Richter. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. Richter.
Richter.
Yes. Some of his paintings, I mean, he's so amazing. Such a wide spectrum, but some of them remind me of this, like a photograph that's just slightly out of focus.
Yes, yes. But this is
like a scene that's fleeting.
Yes, but this one is more out of focus because I goofed on
Oh.
It's not as out of focus as this, really.
But the softness, and as though the way the light envelops them, there's something very magical about it.
Okay.
Great.
So this is another painting by Vermeer, and you see the light marching across the wall. And in the front part of this painting, in this section, everything has kind of gotten close in value together. And in this section, everything is pulled apart.
Mm.
Okay. And I don't think that's an accident. I think that's either part of the way he sees or part of the way a lens sees. This is a great painting, and it's located in Vienna in the Kunsthistorische Museum, and it's called The Art of Painting. The light in his paintings, which passes from here to here, is so hard to grasp hold of. It's so subtle that it is mind-boggling. So when you look at his paintings, the one of the Frick would be close at hand. It's the light that is quite special. So this is
Rembrandt.
this is a terrific Rembrandt and self-portrait, and this is one of the best, in my mind, one of the best paintings in this museum. And they when they renovated the Frick collection, they moved the paintings to the building that was occupied by the Whitney Museum.
Mm.
That was very interesting because you saw these paintings not in the world of Frick, but in the world of a very austere brutalist architecture. So when you went from room to room, you saw everything differently.
Mm.
And this painting in that format was in a smallish room. And when you came through the door, you were like, instead of being in a huge room, you were in a room that was quite small, and about 5 feet away from you was this man. And boy, it was stunning. And the eyes in Rembrandt's paintings are incredible. So I think that the paint is built up in his faces. Is This might be a little bit of a relief going on, but the maybe in the nose as well. But it's hard to understand the eyes. The eyes are this is not something you can put into words or learn how to do or learn how to teach or learn how to understand. They're hard to pin down. But they are deep, very deep. Um, so this is a detail.
Simon, do you know offhand if that's a life-size painting or smaller than life-size
I,
or
I I would say it's pretty close to life size. I'd say it's about maybe 3/4 life size,
okay.
in that ballpark. But whenever I look at his work, if it really gets me, it's usually the eyes.
Mm.
And in fact, I always think that if you're looking at a portrait, y- the eyes are what speaks. The eyes speak in a big way, and it shows the insight of the artist, not just the skill, but the insight or the poetry or the um, I don't know what you call it. It's hard to explain.
Simon, do you happen to know what he's holding in his left hand?
Oh,
It looks like
No, I don't know what it is. It looks like a stick of some sort, a cane or I don't know. I really don't know. I don't want to I don't want to make it up. Um,
I think there were periods when he was flush and periods when he was poor, and he was very direct about depicting those things.
uh, well, that's true, but I don't know what that has to do with the what he's holding.
oh.
Well, it looks like a silver, an object. It looks almost like a flute, but they didn't make flutes of metal at that time. But it's probably a silver cane.
Yeah, that's true.
He
Uh,
does look pretty fancy in this picture. He's got his ornate
Yeah.
collar area and his red sash and
well, this area here,
Dressed himself up deliberately that way.
this area here, I definitely is built up with something below the paint. Um,
Mm.
so again, I would say it's the eyes, and I would I would almost guess that this part is built up in some way, and his eyes are recessed.
Oh. Mm.
This is one of my most favorite of the Rembrandt portraits.
Rembrandt
A
portrait.
a woman in his painting is located in the National Gallery in London, and the eyes are incredible and uh, just a wonderful painting. Madame de Geer, I think is her name, Margarita de Geer. This is a detail of that painting. So I thought this would be the last one. This is one of my favorite Rembrandt paintings. And this painting is located in the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam.
Uh,
And uh, this is really a painting like no other painting that I've seen. It's beyond the fact that paint-wise, a great deal of this is textured and built up. Uh, the painting it speaks to some poetry or intimacy between these two people. Uh,
yeah.
the painting is called The Jewish Bride.
Mm.
And when I visited Amsterdam recently, about a year and a half ago, maybe it was a year ago or maybe it was 2 years ago, something we spent a day in Amsterdam and then we traveled to see this Lopez exhibit for,
Oh, right.
for 2 days, and then we went back to Amsterdam. I thought this could have been the best painting that we saw. I thought it was the best Rembrandt painting there. It's a very spiritual and moving painting, and it goes well past what where art usually goes. It goes to a different level altogether. It's not about how good it was or how well it was painted. It's about something else, something that's outside this rectangle.
Hmm.
That's just my take. But in any case, this is the Rembrandt that is in the Frick collection. So is those five paintings are quite amazing. Um, any questions? Oh, oh yeah, John.
I wanted to loop back to something Susan said. He dressed himself that way on purpose. I think Rembrandt was, he had a collection of costumes and he would use it in his art. And I'm not sure if he was rich or poor at this stage of the game, but he's costumed himself as a very wealthy person. And the clothing may not even be contemporaneous with the times. Susan, do you know any more? I think I've got that right. But he had props, hats and canes and things like this
Yeah,
that he would use
that,
sometimes.
that's quite accurate. I think he was poor at this point.
I think this is a later painting, and yes,
Yeah,
I
but
think he
he
was
was
poor.
actually quite poor.
Yeah, it is a later painting. You're right.
He
I just
wishes he was rich, Ron.
yeah,
He's projecting.
yeah, I just personally found the painting extremely moving
Extremely.
and actually daring, um, because it's not a superficial painting. It's a very complicated thing that he's describing. I'd love to know more about it.
I think Simon Shama wrote a book about it.
Oh, really? Really? Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yes,
About that painting. About that painting.
yes,
Oh,
yes.
that's interesting. Well, interesting piece of knowledge.
Simon Shama, I forget how.
Shama. Yeah,
Simon Shama.
Simon Shama.
Yeah.
Okay, so would someone, I said, if you could tell me a little bit about your thoughts about the film we saw. So, I mean, we have maybe 15 minutes, or maybe we extended 20 minutes, just slightly. Would someone like to start?
No, I'll start, Simon.
Len.
I wrote a couple paragraphs. Art is industry, art is spectacle, art is commerce, yet art begins with one soul at an easel. It is the product of a unique life seen through the lens of a single human being. Some lives in art are a great show. Andy Warhol, Keith Haring, Banksy. Others are filled with stillness, fewer inputs, fewer decision points. Regardless of how big or small, the artist filters and distills what is important to them and what is in front of them. They find inspiration equally in the panorama of Manhattan subways or the thinly populated pastoral landscape of Helene Scherfbeck's Finnish countryside, her small handful of acquaintances, a soul-defining, unrequited love. Art, like life, finds a way.
Nice.
Who else can I call on that Alan, what do you think? What did you think of did you see the film?
Len, that was wonderful. I just have to
I
say
did
that.
see the film.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you, Len.
I went to the museum to
Thank
see
you.
the exhibit
Louder.
Saturday, and then I came back and watched the film.
What did you think of the film after seeing the exhibit? That's fascinating.
Well, actually, I'll read you what I wrote, which kind of
Yeah, go ahead. Go
relates
ahead.
to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. We often wonder what affects an artist's work. In this case, what is Helen Scherbeck, what is in her mind, and what may be her emotional presence during the time that her paintings had been contemplated, conceived, and finally painted. In the film, we are led through a door that opens into a world where a melancholy fog exists, which continues throughout the film. We become aware of how the fog seeps into her paintings. As with many of them, the figures are bleached white and have been scraped so their edges appear to be blurred. One may assume that the paintings reflect how she sees herself in her world.
Very well done. Very well done. Alan, I was thinking, I saw I saw the film last night. Okay. Again, I saw it twice. I wanted to see it before this class. I was thinking uh, she seemed both very shy and very proud.
Mm-hmm.
Could that be possible?
Sure.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, you sure?
And she seemed to want to connect with the young man, but didn't quite know how to do it.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, I think she really had a hard time. Um, I'm going to say intimacy, but not intimacy in the sex work, but just to be intimate with somebody. And I don't know, maybe it was a function of the time that she's in. Um, but
the the actress had such thin skin. You could look right through her face
Like
and
the
to the
painting?
inside of her. It's amazing, amazing. Um, Mary, what did you feel about this?
Um, I just wrote a short paragraph.
That's fine. That's fine.
Though it is fascinating to learn of the life and work of Helene can
Sure,
you
Scherfbeck, I think.
Scherfbeck, the only thing I feel compelled to comment on regarding the film Helene is the cinematography of Ron Kynan. The film is so carefully she works with the light and stages the scenes in such a delicate way that 20 or 30 times throughout watching it twice, I wanted to freeze the frames
Mm,
to just take in
mm.
the still. That was like a landscape or a portrait or a still life with balance and proportion, a magnificent array of color and soft lighting, showing fields of mist, mirrors and beveled glass, rooms that of darkness that the light went against, and it reminded me of the work of Vermeer.
You know, I want to get to someone else, but I just couldn't help thinking of this. Um, in the film, she's so well dressed, but yet she's so shy and inward.
Mhm.
So many contradictions going on here.
Yeah, yeah, I felt like she was smoldering under her skin, you know.
Yes, yes. And there's just one scene where she's with Einar
Mm.
and she's behind him and she's just about smelling him.
Right.
It's a terrific scene, really wonderful. Um, Wendy, what did you think?
Oh, I want definitely to agree with Mary about wanting to freeze images because I did take several photographs
Huh?
of some of the moments because they're
Wow,
so beautiful.
wow,
Um,
wow.
I wrote, the movie captures Helene's increasingly impoverished life, her financial and emotional poverty, and yet she manages still to be a painter, to create, even as her world shrinks around her. Her bravery is in part demonstrated through her willingness in her self-portraits to record her own disappearance, to capture the diminishing beauty, flesh, life, both literal and metaphoric.
Very well written. Very well written. Uh, um, Something you said made me think of do artists need to have an affliction, a challenge to them to be better as artists? So you can almost say that her life uh, decreased exponentially by an accident she had as a child,
Right.
her own introvertedness, And maybe that's what made her even better as an artist. It's an interesting question. I don't know the answer to it.
I think people so often assume that mental illness makes artists better, and I don't think that is the case, but that's interesting to think that somehow her physical affliction might have.
Well, if you think about the sort of relationship that's portrayed with her mother, you can understand that she might have difficulties in close relationships.
Yes, yes. Let me see. Anne Marie?
Yeah, I wrote a little something because, and I was thinking about the word silent because that was what the Met exhibit was titled. It was titled Seeing Silence. So I was looking at the movie in terms of how it portrays silence in her through her, because at the end of the movie she's talking to her friend Wester, and who's holding a painting, and she's telling her the mouth is mute, emphasizing the silence. So I was wondering if the Met got that connection. Was that where they got this concept of silence about her? But then, so that's got me thinking. But I also then looked at the movie to see where I think maybe it was expressed. So I thought the isolation of where she lived is a silence, is it heavy? Of course, the harshness of the weather keeps people separate. So that's a silence. Of course, the mother's coldness and the silent, no expressions of kindness and love. How there's a silence also in not exhibiting the painting. Like there are no paintings on the walls. She has them hidden, so the paintings are kind of silent. Her silence about her feelings for Einar.
Yes, yes.
And her isolation in the hospital and her emotional breakdown, that silence is just, it's so heavy. But then I just thought in the seeing, her silence is broken. She used her observations to break that wall. And it's in her paintings how she sees life then and finds joy in it. So yeah, that's what I was thinking about when I looked at the movie, to connect it with the exhibit, because I saw the exhibit. So I wanted to see how, maybe like somebody else was saying, how they saw it and went to the exhibit as well, and how they connected.
There's a very particularly sad scene when she's invited to the home of the Einar, and the wife plays the violin.
Yes.
Such a sad scene.
Yes.
They
Connect. Yeah.
It's almost like she wants to say something, but she's silent.
Right.
But probably what she wanted to say was something like, "So this is what you did?
Yes.
This is what you went for?"
Yeah, exactly.
Um, you schmuck. This is what you went for?
You can pity the bride.
Carol, you want to answer this?
Well, I didn't write anything, but as we've been sitting here and talking, I've been thinking about the fact that, this is this kind of introverted woman at a time, when would you say it was? The late 19th century?
No. We're talking about 19, I'm going to guess 1920, 30, 40, 1930,
When she was painting? Yes.
She painted between, I would say, 1915 and 1945.
Okay.
I think
Because
she I think she passes away in 1947.
Right, right. She, at the same time that she's so shy, introverted, she also goes off with him to his house in Tar and spends lots of time, seems very happy. Um, they obviously there's no talk of their relationship, but she spends huge amounts of time with him in a way that doesn't seem would be socially acceptable at that time. And it was a contradiction that you know I felt in the painting, in the picture.
But also, here's another contradiction. She's so
Yes,
willful, and yet she's also so timid.
right. I
I
mean,
mean,
she's so willful with her brother when they first get this money and her mother says, or you know, it goes to your brother, and she says no, not happening.
but
Right.
I was just thinking that she's so willful, and yet she doesn't. Uh, she doesn't. If the film is correct, that's a big if. She doesn't try to seduce the young man.
I know.
She's very um,
I thought she
almost
was
almost aloof.
well, I thought she was worried about whether this spread of age that he wouldn't respond. I mean, that was what I projected onto it. I don't know if
Yeah,
that.
I got the impression they were sleeping in the same room in separate beds.
yeah,
Yes.
yes, yes. Um, Kathy,
And
Kathy,
it
Fiona Metzger. What did you think?
Yeah, I didn't write something, but I wrote random thoughts as I was watching it. Um, I felt she had some feelings of self-doubt. I'm just going to read off my random thoughts.
Go
The
ahead.
interiors were stunning. Each interior was like a painting, and I wish I took shots of that too. Um, she seemed very pleased by her success at the exhibition, but reserved in exhibiting this, pleasure in her success. I thought Einar was taken by her talent and wanted to learn from her. And like you all said, that she she was kind of handcuffed by her, I don't know, her shyness. Her shyness was controlling her.
Mm.
She just couldn't get past that. As much as she put herself into position to maybe have something happen with him, she couldn't get past the shyness. It just controlled her. And I think he didn't pick up on her feelings towards him. Maybe later in the movie, he said he thought he married too quickly.
Yes, yes. It's an
Made a
interesting
mistake.
statement.
Yeah.
Interesting statement. But if you think of the psychology of this, and maybe if you have a construct about psychology that human beings have little circles, and they're a composite of little compartments. This woman had a lot of compartments. I mean, a lot of circles all around the place. Kathy and Anne, I have to ask you a question. This is based on that I know both of you are artists. Did you find it inspiring to watch the film and see the exhibit?
Yeah, I did, absolutely. Yeah, because again, I mean, the film itself was beautiful. So right there, that was absolutely stunning. But her pursuit of her art, despite her relationship with Einar, her relationship with her, or lack of with Einar, her relationship with her mother, and everything, she just kept moving forward and pursuing. So yeah, it was very inspirational.
Hmm. Anne, what did you think? Same?
So I was not inspired by the movie. I spent most of it crying. Um, I mean, really crying. I can't even explain. I couldn't even write anything down. But although I couldn't stop watching because it was so beautiful, but it just broke my heart.
Mm.
Every few minutes, it broke my heart again. And I just was like, I can't watch this again, I mean, I'm just gonna have to think about it for a while. But the exhibition and even like the text that I was reading as I went along, because I saw the exhibition first, and it that was inspiring, and that really sort of, I think, transformed me. And I actually have to tell you really quickly that I started a painting on Thursday, and I was so excited by it, and it was like really moving fast and getting close to being done. And then I left for New York on Friday, and I saw the show on Saturday, and then I came back on Sunday, and I was all excited to be like, I'm gonna go into the city and see art, and I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna finish my painting, everything's good. And I was unable to, I mean, I didn't even know what had happened to me when I saw the show. I was like, okay, I have to not just start painting because I feel like I need to take some time. But not in the same way that I was like crying and losing my mind for the movie. And I liked the movie a lot, but I don't know that I was inspired by it. I felt deeply when watching the movie, and I was inspired and felt deeply when seeing the show.
Who has some very cogent last thoughts? I think someone should go last.
Okay, I'll
I'm not
go.
going to go last, but I want to comment on Anne Marie's comments about seeing silence, because that was
Yeah.
confusing to me when I was looking at the show. Like, why is it called Seeing Silence? And Anne Marie did all the work for me because that was really, really well said. So
I agree. I agree.
those are the cogent thoughts that I love.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. John.
Unmute.
Sorry, everybody. And now for something completely different. I think I'm hung up on slow looking. And in the case of watching this film, I watched it twice. I saw things the second time that I hadn't seen before. But my concentration here was to look and see and pick up on the concrete, the work. I titled my little essay, Artist at Work. And what struck me most about the film was how it documents this artist's approach to painting. It shows her working, and for me, it sort of shows her thinking, but it shows her techniques, and it shows her tools. Now, I only saw this on the second viewing, but in the film, we see her painting on an unstretched canvas. It's pinned, it's tacked to a board. And if you look at that canvas, there's a scored edge on it and a white border, which is evidence that this canvas has been stretched previously on a frame, has been gessoed, been painted a little bit, maybe the background, and then she takes it off and puts it on a board. And I'm like, why is that? One reason is fairly obvious, because when she begins to, I'll use the word attack the canvas, when she holds her brush like this in her fist. And there's a portion in the film where they put the mic on the brush hitting the canvas. And
Yes. Well
if
said.
that canvas was stretched, she'd poke right through it.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, she's sanding it and then scraping it with a knife. And if we think about the way she worked, all of us have seen a lot of artists at work films, but I don't think there's a film that's been this ever had a decibel level as high as when this lady worked. The scraping, the sanding, the poking, and just I got I don't want to say hung up, but I think it's important to note the methodology, the approach, the tools, and how she in that respect alone is a very, very unique artist.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody who's as loud when they paint, and not always. The other thing I loved about her, and this gets back to, she was a slow looker. She would work in these fits of frenetic energy, sanding, scraping, and then she would take a break, go get a cup of tea. And on her way to get the tea, she'd look back at the painting, she'd peek around the corner and look at it again. And then maybe she'd throw a fit and flung her cane at it once. The tulips that she was trying to paint, no, it was an orchid. She
Yeah.
toppled the vase over.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this, there was a dichotomy. At the end, all the techniques and everything comes together, and she unites it with this beautiful patina, whether it's been scraped or sanded or poked at. And I don't, all the technique I think added up to something. And what that something means, I'll leave it for
I think that
others to figure out.
what you've described and your enthusiasm or excitement about it is really slow looking.
I want to say absolutely, and I'll thank you again, but I didn't see it except on second viewing.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's slow looking.
And it's in, if you just look at the preview of the film, you'll see it, and it's staring you in the face. A pre-stretched canvas has been unstretched and pinned to a board.
Yeah,
and
but you have to look at it hard enough and long enough to fill in the spaces to see that.
Yeah. But I think the technique, I can't explain it tonight or maybe forever. All artists, I mean, think of Warhol in his silk screening. That's very, very important to interpreting his work and the energy of the work and the way that work was breakthrough. And I think the same thing is in effect here. Everybody has a way of doing business, and beginning there with the concrete, I think, is not a bad place to start.
There was a very just if I can make a very short comment, you had suggested reading 3 of these essays.
Oh yes.
And I thought there was a particularly good comment that was made by Hinton Ace about the work of Atget. And he talks about Atget was a man who didn't believe in hierarchies of visual experience.
Mm-hmm.
He stood for a long time in front of what others might call nothing, seeing everything.
Well said. Very well said. Extremely well said. That's a mirror of what John just said. Really. So I think this is a good point to stop. If you didn't say something and you would like to, just send it to me and I'll respond. Okay. But so have a very nice holiday. This is I'm not religious, but this is actually, if I was going to celebrate one holiday, this would be the one to celebrate. So enjoy your break, and I'll see you on the 8th of April. And if you're around on Monday and you'd like to come, please come. And I've enjoyed this thoroughly. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Yes, everybody. This was wonderful.
Yeah.
Great group session.
Thanks. Take care. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Simon.
Yeah, thanks. Take care.
Simon, is it likely that the talk on Monday will be recorded so some of us could see that later?
Yeah, I think it'll be recorded, but I think that I've seen their recordings, and their recordings have a problem with the imagery. And the problem is the camera is recording in darkness images on the screen. So I hope I've not seen this setup, but I've seen recordings of it. And I think that the acuity of those images is less than super. Okay. So there is a way to insert high quality stills in a video. Okay. If I can figure out how to do that, or if someone could help me with that, or it's not that costly, that would be good. Okay. So that's my only hesitation about sharing the recording.
Alan, hi, Alan. I wanted to comment that there may be a problem with your microphone. The volume of your speech was very low. I got that feedback from some people with my setup, and just got a new camera and microphone. It's made a big difference.
Oh, I don't know. You still, maybe I'll check the volume. It could be that the volume is down.
Alan, actually, Alan, I think he's right.
Yeah, I don't know,
Because
volume.
mine, I don't know why this is, but on this larger than regular tabletop, the volume isn't strong. Whereas on Renee's laptop, it's much louder than on this one. But I think there's a way to get around it. But I'm not very good at this stuff. But but your point is true, I think. But I didn't notice it. I didn't notice it at all.
All right, well, excuse me, I'll check it out and see if I can. I mean, I've been using, this is the computer I've been using for all of our programs, all of our classes. So,
I think that there might be a way inside the computer to bring up the volume, but I don't know how you do it.
yeah, no, I know how to do it.
Oh, that sounds much louder.
Well,
That sounds much louder. What you just said.
you're closer to the microphone.
Oh, that's probably, yeah, because I'm closer to the
Yeah,
microphone.
I'd just invest in another one. They're not very expensive, and you get them
Yeah.
overnight.
Yeah, actually, I have some around somewhere.
Yeah, try another, see what happens.
No, I've been using the speaker and the microphone in the computer, but I
Good.
do have a one that I can attach to it. So we'll see what it can do with that by next time.
Yeah,
Maybe it's my voice.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
No.
I was very struck by what you said about the exhibit in film. I thought it was very, very striking.
I've picked my two choices, so I will be sending mine very shortly on that. And Carmen and I are going to be there on Monday. I think.
Oh, that's great. Now you sounded much louder.
Yeah, well.
Now you sounded very loud.
You can
A lot
see by my
closer.
head there how close I am. All right, well, maybe that's the
Now you're
solution.
too loud. You're too loud. Anyway, so have a happy Passover, both of you.
Okay.
Thanks, Simon. All the best. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Take care.
See you
Okay.
on Monday.
Okay. Oh, thanks. That's great. See you, Ron.